Hey y'all! Oh my goodness. We are finally here, the first episode of Boss Up Hustler podcast. So here's your host. I'm Naraya. Um, I want to first kind of just get into telling y'all about who I am and what the heck this podcast is about. So, like I said, my name is Naraya. I am actually a Christian, but really, Boss Up Hustler podcast was kind of birthed from kind of my own personal experience and just understanding that other people are going through the same thing and kind of just trying to provide basically a hand up to my fellow neighbor. So really this podcast was birthed from just this idea, like for me, there are certain dreams and visions and goals God has given me. There's certain things that he has kind of put in my heart to build and create in this earth and in this world, and to do certain things for certain communities. Now, the thing with the dream is that I believe it, right? But it's so big, it's so grand. And for me, it's needing the right ecosystem to help me birth out these dreams and these visions. Boss Up Hustler podcast was really birthed from just understanding that I'm not the only one who um, has went through this. There's so many people who have big dreams, have big goals, have big aspirations, but don't necessarily have the right ecosystem that's needed to really birth out these dreams and these visions. And so, Boss Up Hustler podcast is really supposed to be that tool that helps you do that. It's the thing that is created to help you achieve those dreams and those goals. Um, so another thing too is that the way that I do and kind of run this podcast is I'm doing it and I'm birthing out dreams God's way, right? Like my main kind of thing is okay, so we have these dreams, we have these goals, but how are we going to get there? And for me, the way that I do things is I'm trying to learn how to do it God's way, right? Because He's the one who gave me the vision. So He's the one who's going to give me the blueprint of how to get there. And really just looking at, because I've been a Christian for some time, and just kind of looking at the way God does things, the way He does things, and the way kind of His blueprint to achieving goals and dreams, He really focuses on evolving thyself, right? His whole thing is, I'm going to work with you to help you become something better, to help you become something new, to help you to become the person that can obtain the dreams and the goals. So really, when you follow God's blueprint, it's really a self-development journey. That's really what it is. And so that's really what Boss Up Hustler is about. It's about becoming a better you and evolving and understanding that every dream and every goal that you have in your heart is very much achievable and you can obtain it. But you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to transform to seize that dream, to take a hold of that dream, and to see it manifest in this earth. And so I kind of want to give y'all like a template on, or give y'all kind of understanding on how every episode is going to run. So y'all will see on every episode, it'll start with like a rule, da 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 da. Now, I don't want y'all to look at it like a rule, like you know how when it's okay. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all know how it is, like with Christianity and stuff. A lot of times we have this perspective that it's about rules and like strict religious rules that you have to follow. That's not what we're doing here, right? We're not doing that. Really, these rules are representative of certain understandings, um, and really true truths that are supposed to deepen and widen your understanding and perspective on life and yourself. And ultimately, these truths and understandings, and what I mean by truths is truths, these truths are really supposed to help you reign in life. So once you've gotten the understanding, you're supposed to use it to help you reign in life. And then in each episode, basically what I will do is I'm going to go over each rule in depth. So I'm going to teach you, like, basically kind of give you the understanding. So let's say, for example, if, let's say, rule one is the ball is in your court. So I'm going to, in each episode, break down and show you how the ball is in your court, right? And once you leave that episode, the goal is to basically give you a new understanding and perspective on life. So that's how the episodes are going to run. And so now that I've told you about myself, I've told you about what this podcast is created to do, who it's really for. Now I want to kind of get into, because I know y'all saw the name and title, Boss Up Hustler, right? So some of us, we might have an understanding of what that means, and some of us don't, right? So I want to give y'all a clear understanding of what I mean by boss up and what it means to be a hustler. Because I know, like, there's several definitions of what a hustler is. Like, I think boss up, we're pretty clear on that. But if you're not in pop culture, you might not even know what that means. So I'm going to just make sure that we all are on the same page about what it means to boss up, and what it means to be a hustler. So we'll start with the first definition, which is boss up. So boss up really means it's about taking control of your life and seizing success. So when I think of a person who's bossing up, I'm thinking about a person that's like, you know what? I know X, Y, and Z has happened to me. I know circumstances is not the way they should be, but I'm gonna see how I can basically turn these lemons into lemonade, right? I'm gonna see what can I do to change the situation, the circumstance. A person who's really bossing up has gotten out of the perspective of pointing the finger and blaming this and that person, blaming this and that system, blaming X, Y, and Z experiences. When a person decides to take on the mentality of bossing up, they're saying, you know what, I know this happened. I know the cards maybe wasn't stacked in my favor, but I'm gonna still go out here and seize the success that I know is due to me. I'm gonna still go out here and figure out how can I achieve my dream. Because the truth of the matter is, when you really listen to folks who have achieved some amazing things in this world, baby, they did not come from like perfect circumstances. A lot of them came from crazy circumstances and still was able to achieve. So again, a person who takes on the mentality of a boss and is bossing up, they're looking at all of these things and they're saying, you know what? If life is going to change, it's going to start with me. And because I know life is going to change and because I'm determined to make life change, I'm going to start with the first step. And the first step is evolving me. The first step is changing me. The first step is saying, what can I do to better my life? Second definition is bossing up really, y'all, is about mastery and dominance over life, right? When a person decides that they're going to boss up, they're in a mental state of saying, you know what? I'm not comfortable with just going through life. The information that I might know is not enough. And I ain't just comfortable with just knowing enough, right? You can obviously tell the difference between people who just know enough to get through life and people who have dominance over life, people who have mastery over life. These are two completely different people, right? The people who have mastery over certain things have understandings, they have knowledge, they have basically studied the game of life. That's what it means to boss up. These are people who have studied the game of life and they now understand what it means to they understand now what it means to basically get the victory over life. Okay. Then the kind of the third thing is also when it comes to bossing up, it's about awakening your God-given potential. It's about not settling for mediocrity, not settling for average Joe. It's about becoming who you always knew you could be the person who you always seen yourself, like in the back of your mind, you saw yourself this way, but it's about actualizing it in real life, right? So many of us have images of who we know we could be, who we know we are, but we still don't see it yet. We really don't see it in the natural, if that makes sense. So, bossing up really is about awakening that God given potential. It's about transforming yourself from the inside out. It's about becoming somebody new, evolving, um, and basically elevating yourself. Um, with people who boss up, they understand that it's not just about the material aspect, right? They understand that really bossing up is a mentality, it's a mindset, right? It's not, oh, because I drive this such and such car, or I had this amount of money in my bank account. Because you can have all that and still not have a boss mentality. Straight up, like that's facts. You can have all of these things and not have a boss mentality. So, bossing up is a mentality, it's an attitude, it's a way of living, it's a way of seeing, it's a way of approaching life. So, um, that is the first definition of bossing up. Okay. And then now we're talking about hustler. So to me, and really what I mean by hustler, a hustler is a go-getter. A hustler is an ambitious person. A hustler is a person that is like, listen, I'm going to succeed no matter what. It's a person determined to succeed, a person willing to do whatever it takes to prosper in life. Um, Another thing too that we're going to see in later episodes, um, a hustler is also a person who still gets back up and still continues to pursue success even after failures and setbacks, even after disappointments, personal mistakes, personal setbacks, whatever the case may be. It's a person that says, you know what, I know that this and that happened. Um, I know that maybe I missed the mark in this area. But basically, and it's kind of like this verse that I read the other day, right? Um, a person who's a hustler never sees failure as a defeat. It never sees failure as a defeat. It might see failure as a learning lesson, but it never takes failure. Hustlers, they don't take failure as a defeat. So that's what a hustler is. Um, and so, yeah, y'all. So that's really what boss up means and then hustler. And so, really, I'm giving y'all these definitions so that we have the right perspective as we're listening to, every episode. So, y'all, so we're all on the same page. So, we all know, kind of what I'm talking about. Another thing, too, is like the point of me giving you these definitions, too, is because I also, when I'm speaking, the people who get it, they get what I'm saying. It resonates with them. And to some people who are not on this journey, it doesn't make any sense to them. So the point of me giving you these definitions is I don't want you to waste your time either. I don't want you to follow a podcast that doesn't fit where you're headed in life. It doesn't fit you, right? My podcast is for specific people, okay? A specific person. So I wanted to give you these definitions so that way you know if this podcast is a good fit for you or not. Um, and so I just want to conclude the first episode's kind of introduction with two reflection questions, right? So the first question is, what will bossing up help you achieve? So the reason why I'm giving you really this question is because I want you to be very clear on your why. And I haven't shared this yet, but maybe I will in other podcasts. But when I was going through certain things in my life, it was my why that kept me going. It was my why that was my determination. It was my why that was my motivation. And sometimes, y'all, life can get so crazy that that's all you got is your why. So I want you to be very clear on your why because that is going to be kind of your fuel, your engine that's going to keep you going even when life starts going the opposite way, even when stuff starts happening all around you, it's going to be your why that helps you to still fight through all of the noise of life. Because best believe, trust me, when you are on this path, all of y'all know who are on this path, all kind of distractions come. all kind of stuff come. And the purpose of it coming is to get you off that path. Because the moment you decide you want to take hold of a God-given dream, the God-given vision, oh baby, Satan coming. And he coming with all kind of stuff. So that's another episode for another day. But you know. And then the second question is, um, what areas of your life do you want to boss up in? Again, what areas of your life do you want to boss up in? Now, the point really of the second question is because when y'all listen to these podcasts, I want you to be able to listen for the answers to your questions, right? If you know you want to boss up maybe in your relationships, then as I'm speaking, you're going to kind of be listening for information on that, right? So the point of these questions is to help you to listen better, to hear better, right? And we're going to talk about that eventually, about the power of hearing and how you hear, and you know, um, how you hear and what you hear, how that determines where you go and where you don't go. So that's another episode, but yeah. Um, so this is the so what I'm planning on doing is, for some, because this is, obviously YouTube, so I'm gonna post the video version of this podcast on YouTube, but I'm also gonna post the audio version. What you're listening to right now is the audio version. The reason why I'm doing both is because I have two kind of people, right? There's some people who want to sit and watch the video and want to see a person and, want to see all that. And then there's some people who are on the go for the most part of their life and most part of their day. They don't really got the time to be sitting there watching no video. And I understand that because that's sometimes me as well. So I wanted to provide two different mediums. Um, to kind of fit every lifestyle. So like I said, some people can sit down and watch the video, and then some people don't really have the time to sit and watch the video, but they can pop on the audio while they're cleaning, they can pop on the audio while they're driving, whatever, right? So you just pick whichever one works for you, but the plan going forward is to give you both the video and the audio version. So, y'all, this concludes kind of the introduction episode to Boss Up Hustler podcast. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for rocking with me for this 17 minutes and something time frame. And I will see you guys again next week.